What's up guys, and welcome to the video on circles. Let's do it. The first concept we're going to go over is radius. So what is a radius? It's really important that you understand this concept. So a radius is simply the distance or line segment from the center straight out to the edge of the circle. So in this case, it's that red line there. We're going from the center all the way out to the outer edge. The next concept to be familiar with is diameter. So what is diameter? Diameter is simply a line going from one edge of the circle to another edge of the circle that also passes through the center of the circle. And a really interesting thing to note is diameter, its relationship with radius, is that the diameter is 2 times the distance of the radius. The next definition to be familiar of is a chord. So what is a chord? A chord is simply a line segment that goes from one outer edge of the circle all the way to another. But the distinction between this and a diameter is that a chord doesn't necessarily have to pass through the center. It can, but it doesn't have to, which means that a diameter is indeed also a chord. The next concept to be familiar with is circumference. So what is circumference? Circumference is simply the length around a circle. So it's really important to know how to calculate circumference if you're given the radius. So this is a very important formula. If you know the radius, you can calculate the circumference by multiplying the radius times 2 and then again times pi. So the formula to calculate circumference of a circle, if you know radius, is 2 times pi times r. And in case you've never heard of pi before, pi is just a constant. It's actually a number, but we represent it as this crazy symbol because it goes on and on and on forever. We usually use approximations of it when we're making calculations. Pi is approximately 3.14, but as I said, it continues on, so we usually use this sign to represent that number. The next calculation to be aware of for circles is how to calculate the area of a circle. So it's a little trickier than a square or a rectangle. For area of a circle, again, we're starting with the radius. And we're also using pi. And the formula for area of a circle is simply pi times the radius squared. So pi r squared will give you the area of a circle. The next definition to be aware of is a sector. So what is a sector? A sector is just a chunk of a circle where you connect the line straight to the center. So it's almost like, it's like pulling a slice of pizza out of an entire pizza. That is a sector. The next definition to be aware of is an arc. So what is an arc? An arc, remember how I said a sector is kind of like a slice of pizza? The arc is like a segment of crust of the pizza. It's sort of like you can calculate the arc, the length of an arc. It's like sort of a particular snippet of the outside circumference. The next thing that you should absolutely know is that there are 360 degrees if you go all the way around in a circle. And that's super important because, as we know, if we go all the way around in anything we do, where we're on a skateboard and doing a jump in the air, it's always 360 degrees to go from start and end at the same position. So why is that important? Well, it's important for 2 particular calculations: to calculate the length of the area of a sector, or also the length of an arc. So I'm going to show you how you might do that. So first, if we're going to calculate the length of an arc, okay, and we know the angle that sort of cuts out that arc, right? So let's say we have that angle there. We can calculate that length of an arc by first taking that angle, putting it over the whole, putting it over 360, and then multiplying it by the total circumference. And that will give us the length of that little arc there. Now the next way we can use it is to calculate the area of a sector. So again, we're going to take that angle and we're going to put it over 360, right? The part over the whole. And now we're going to multiply that not by the circumference, but by the area. And that will give us the area of the corresponding sector. That's all for the video on circles. Let's get into some practice problems.